Good afternoon, everyone. I am Giovanni Zenezini from the DGEP department. I'm an assistant professor there. I'm part of a research group which is called RESLOG. We deal with logistics and project management. And as to the who am I question, not only am I a white cis hetero male, which means that I'm on the lucky side of AI, of course, but I'm also a management engineer. So before Lucia approached me for this project, I basically didn't know anything about ethical AI transitions. As management engineers, what we do is improving process, working with AI to optimize processes, to maybe improve processes by reducing environmental and operational impacts. Again, so when I was starting to develop this presentation, I was a bit of, let's say, out of my comfort zone, I would say. So I basically came back to a meeting we had with Lucia a few months ago when we talked about tensions. And as management engineers, not always we think about tensions in our environmental domain. So more to the point of the PARJAI4WORK use case, which I will be co-supervising, we are going to work on e-commerce logistics, and more specifically, we're going to look at the warehousing context. So tension starts, in my point of view, from talking about the relevance of the warehousing context. Of course, you all know about the increase in e-commerce in the recent years. This has caused, of course, an increase in the market for warehousing, of course. But on the other hand, it led to an issues on logistics workers, which by many accounts are facing the consequences of this pressure. So logistic workers, according to these studies, have highest burnout risk because they work on average more than any other type of workers. And tensions also arise, and this is me talking about as a management engineers, arise from the use of AI application in the warehouse management. Mostly we have been using AI to support the increasing automation levels in warehouses. Think about, for example, in this slide, we have 2 or 3 examples of this. For example, machine learning algorithm to classify items in a warehouse to detect whether these items are damaged, or digital twins who can sense the state of the system and make autonomous decisions based on prediction on the future state of the system, or also autonomous driving in warehouses where these robots are moving around items in the warehouse. So, of course, all of these AI applications are going towards the idea of replacing the jobs of humans with automation. So on the one hand, new jobs may appear, but on the other hand, of course, there is a fear of job destruction and job displacement, which is also increased by the fact that AI is going even more towards automation and trying to tackle jobs and issues that were previously only done by humans. So think about the very simple task of picking something. This is something that the human is very well equipped to do, but the robots are not very well equipped to do. But of course, AI is trying to have that as well. There are projects whereby AI is being used to try to experiment on loading and unloading of trucks, also picking items in a warehouse shelf. So not only we need to take into account the fear of job displacement, but also we need to take into account, as was very well explained by Luce and Luigi, we need to take into account the reduction of risk in human-machine interaction. We have a lot of autonomous objects and robotic objects in warehouse which are driven by AI algorithm, which needs to be taken care of. And all of this, of course, has a higher impact where we are not talking about fully able people, but also minorities and neurodivergent people. And also tensions arise when we use AI applications supposedly to improve the well-being of workers. In this slide, we have on the left-hand side, we have a new, technology for supporting picker operation. A picker is basically a person who goes into the warehouse and simply picks the item. Okay, so this is called voice picking, which means that there is a robotic device who simply tells the human operator which item to pick, also with augmented reality. So supposedly this helps the worker by making this task less error-prone, which means less time, less effort, and more well-being. But, of course, not of course, I would say, but on the other hand, this, of course, increases the ability of companies to monitor and track the performance of operators. And so this is a problem. We have seen issues and disputes and strikes caused by employees basically protesting against their tracking, and who can blame them, right? So in the PARJAI4WORK, we have the objective is twofold in this case. The first objective will be probably looking more at my community of management engineers. So we have so many systematic literature reviews and reviews about AI applications in the warehousing context, in the logistic context, but none of them actually look at impacts that are not only operational, economical, and social, but also explores the ethical and human-centric implications of AI. So together with Luce and her PhDs, we are going to try as a first objective to map all of these applications with this angle in mind. And the second objective will be, of course, to use the methodology, which was well explained before, so the participatory AI design to mitigate, hopefully, the tensions that arise from AI application in the warehouse management context, with, of course, emphasis on the fear of job displacement, impact on diversity and inclusivity. And of course, our use case also positions itself in a wider theoretical background, which was, again, very well explained before, so I'm not going to detail, but just to say that more to the point of work, we know that some studies, and this is actually a very new topic, the impact of AI on work, that the AI impacts positively the well-being only if it's used to enhance aspects of work that matter to employees and aligns with their needs and values. This means that AI can be used to automate time-consuming and repetitive tasks, allowing workers to focus on creative and strategic tasks. But this is not always, we don't know whether this is really going to be for the betterment or for the worse of workers. And also in terms of neurodivergent workers and minority, we know that the AI-powered assistant can help address some of the struggles around time management, task switching, and prioritization. But again, this is a fairly new topic, so the references here are very new, so we are going to try to work around that and try to find ways to mitigate the tension. Also, maybe make them explicit. Again, I'm talking about my field, make these tensions more explicit. So what we tend to do is we want to work in a real environment. Of course, the ideal would be to, and we're going to try to do that, the ideal would be to work in a real environment of a real company, but we have, I would say, the second best option, which is to work at our logistics lab. As I mentioned, I'm part of a wider research group, which is called ResLog, and a few years back, we have set up this laboratory here at DGEP, at the Polito, and this laboratory, this logistics laboratory, comprises 3 physical components, which we can use to basically emulate what happens in a real warehouse. The first is an automated storage and retrieval system, with picking stations. So picking stations are the actual station where the operators can actually pick the items. Then we have very nice autonomous mobile robots which can roam around the laboratory and interact with humans and take over some of the tasks that human operators do. But also we do have some workstations for simulating other warehouse tasks. So not only the picking operation, but also other warehouse tasks which are being operated in warehouse, such as light assembly and packing. So with that, this is all from my side. And thank you again, Luce, for inviting me to this project. And I leave the floor to Eduardo.